What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to A Therapeutic Edge. It is nice to have you here. Thank you so much for watching. I've got something from the mind of Leong Mah on the table. Leong Mah has been a knife designer for a very long time. He designed some of the most interesting and cool knives out there. Last year, he decided to bring forward a more budget-friendly option for those that wanted to collect his stuff but didn't want to have to invest. Some of his knives run $300, $400, $500, $600. So he created a new knife line. It's called Eutektik, and it is D2 and micarta steel liners. Now these do run about $150, which is not insignificant for D2 and micarta. I get that, but you're not going to get a Leong Mah design unless you go through maybe CRKT, in which case you're going to get absolute crap materials. You just are. So those are still 70 or 80 bucks. So you step up to about $150 and you get a straight, pure, non-messed with Leong Mah design in D2 and micarta, and it looks really cool. This is a big knife. It's beautiful. Action is fantastic, although there's one little thing we'll talk about in a second. But I just wanted to get it out of the way. This is expensive for D2. It is. But Leong, if you want a Leong Mah design, this is an opportunity to do it, and it's not absolutely going to break the bank. So I think that is a really cool thing that he's done. This one in particular, he's got 2 or 3 models, but the Trinity is just my favorite by far because of the way it looks. It's just gorgeous. So let's talk about deployment while we're talking about it. As you can see, sorry, it's a liner lock, steel liners. This one's locked up at about 25%. The action is very good. This knife has 3 forms of deployment, 2 of which I can do. It's got a hole in the blade, which allows for just marvelous flicking. It's a fidget toy in that regard. It's got a really nice but not super aggressive flipper on the back that works every single time. And then it's got this sort of top flip. And I struggle with this. You can, see, yeah, I can do it, but it's not super comfortable. So for me, this is a Spidey flicker and just a flipper tab flipper. And in those 2 ways, it works every single time. I suppose with practice, I could get to a point where I'm using the top flip fairly comfortably, but okay. The design of the knife is pretty straightforward. The steel liners are milled on the inside for a little bit of weight reduction. You do get a lanyard space right back here, which is out of the way of the blade. Beyond that is a very simple and straightforward design. You got 1 screw on the show side, and of course the Eutektik pivot, which is very cool. It's got a couple of barrel spacers, 3 in fact, 1 back here, 2 at the butt of the knife. It's a very secure and stable feeling knife. And again, let's just look at that blade. It's just gorgeous. That is Leong Mah all over the place. His blade aesthetic continues to be one of my favorite in the knife world. And so here he went ahead and designed knives that will not break the bank, but he didn't take himself out. I mean, he could have just stamped out a blade and called it done, but he didn't. He put himself into this because he wants people to have his designs. And man, is this thing pretty. I love this blade shape. So let's take a look at what you get for your $150. First, the knife overall is 8.5 inches. This is a full-size folding knife. The blade, you get 3 1/16 of cutting on just about 3.5, a little over 3.5 inches of D2. The grip area from behind the flipper, right, is 3 3/4, but if you add in this phenomenal forward choil, you're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.25 inches. There is all sorts of room on this knife to move around. The design lends itself to everyday work. Sorry, something banged on condo there. Things moved. The design lends itself to your everyday tasks exceptionally well, and I got to tell you, we've had this thing in the house for a while. It has been used. Look at the nice grind on that. It has taken no damage. It has not even needed so much as a strop and maintains its edge. The D2 on this is done very, very well. Makes me very happy. So besides the top flip, The one other thing that I wish he'd done a little bit differently is the cutout to get to the lock bar. As you can see, it is sort of buried in there. Now, I can get to it without trouble, but I can tell you that for people with maybe smaller thumbs, that might be a bit of a hang-up. Beyond that, it's a well-sorted and well-thought-out knife. Now, he named it the Trinity because of the 3 forms of deployment, which makes sense. Let me see if I can do that top flip again. Yeah, see? Yeah, that really... Anyway. Okay, it's called the Trinity, but it's got 2 forms of really solid deployment and a third one that works. Leong. All right. The knife itself looks pretty good closed. It's taken up just about 1.25 inches closed. It is coming in at 5 inches overall, just well 3 3/4 overall in the closed position. It sits in the pocket very well. It has a nice stamped steel deep carry clip, although it does not have flush mounted screws. So these do hang a little bit on larger, thicker pants pockets. Let's get some size comparisons out of the way so you know what you're looking at. We'll line it up there. Here it is against the Deca. You can see the Trinity just dwarfs the Deca. This is, without question, a full-size knife. Here it is against the full-size Benchmade Presidio. These knives are very similar in overall size, right? What else do we have on the table that's interesting? Oh, here it is against the Spyderco Superleaf. And as you can see, the Trinity is bigger than the Superleaf. And just for giggles, because it's sitting here, here it is against a really, really nice version of the bug out. This is Women Carry Knives M390 with titanium scales bug out. And as you can see, the Eutektik Trinity just dwarfs it. This is a really nice full-size knife. I love his neutral handle that he's done. It is really comfortable, and of course with that choil you can really get up here if you needed to. I haven't done any feather sticking with this, but I imagine based on the way you can hold it, that you could get in there and really do some feathering with this if you wanted to, which makes it a really nice outdoor knife. Now because it is D2, you're going to want to maintain your blade if you're using it in the great outdoors, but that's sort of true of everything to one degree or another. Let's go ahead and weigh it, and then we will get the specs done on the D2. The Trinity comes in at 3.7 ounces, which, you know, as I said, for 3 1/4 inches of D2 is right at that ounce per inch, which is not bad for a knife this size. It's really well done. Is it expensive? Yes. Is it a little too expensive? Yeah, it is. You know, but hey. If you were looking to start collecting Leong Mah, specifically Leong Mah knives, his new Eutektik line is a really great way to get into that. I'll post a link in the description to get to his website and to where these might be available if you're interested, and I hope you'll check one out. Let's take a look at how much of that D2 you get. So it's 3.13 millimeters, so it starts nice and thin. It's got a nice high grind, so it comes down to a very slicey edge. In all, this is a really superb knife. It's got a couple of little things but whatever, no knife is perfect. That's not really the point. And quite frankly, the opportunity to get a Leong Mah design in hand for less than $200 is completely worth your attention. And that's where we're going to wrap this up. This is the Eutektik Trinity, one of the new Eutektik line from the mind of Leong Mah, who, by the way, is a super nice guy. If you have the opportunity to check one out, please do so. And if this interests you, check the links below for a place where you might find one for yourself. If you have any questions about this knife or any of my knives, feel free to ask down in the comments below. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.